All right, so today I'm going to show you how I took a prompt that I found on Twitter, and I thought it was a great prompt. So what I did was I took it, I tested it, and then I thought, you know what? I could actually rip that apart and make that an app inside of Tana. And that's exactly what I did. And so I'm going to show you how to use it today, not like how to rip it apart and all that stuff. I'll give you kind of like the general overview, but I just want you to see the difference between having like a static prompt versus actually having an app, right? And what it can actually do for you. So this was the post here, God of Prompt. And let's actually just go to it there on Twitter. There we go. And so this is our prompt here, the Billionaire Council Simulation. And so, yes, I'm going to steal that prompt and I'm going to make it my own, right? And so that's exactly what I did. So the first thing I did was I just grabbed the prompt itself, right? And so, first of all, like kind of like the first thing that happened was I went to share on my phone and I shared this X post into Tana. And from there, I extracted it and got this little thing right here. And then I tagged the prompt itself with AI prompt, because this now allows me to go back inside of Tana and to save and see all of my prompts and where they came from. Because I like to do that. I always like to give credit to whoever made the prompt, you know, and whatever they're doing. But I also like to know where all of my prompts are, because that's one thing that, like, if you were using ChatGPT, it's kind of difficult to keep track of all your prompts, right? But this way I can just put it inside of Tana. I've got it there, right? But I love to actually use Tana so that we can do more powerful things than just, one-shot prompts. So let's actually have a look at what I did with it in the end here. I created this new super tag called Billionaire Board. And this is the one I actually did on my company. And let's go to configure super tag. Actually, you know what? Let's talk real quick before we do that about what this actually does. So what it does is it's a council of 5 billionaires. And the billionaires they chose were Elon Musk, Sarah Blakely, Sam Altman, Warren Buffett. And then basically what you do is you give the AI the information about your business, and then they tell you what they think about it. They tell you how you can enhance it. They give you questions. They give you ideas for capital allocation and failure prediction and your success acceleration framework, which is like a 90-day idea, right? And so it tells them in the parameters that each billionaire should maintain their actual personality and kind of stay in their lane kind of thing, which was really cool. And so that's what it actually does. And so, like I said, I tried to run it just like this. And give me a minute, and I'll actually see where I have that saved from when I ran it. I think I ran it in Grok. Okay, so here I am inside of Grok. And I just dumped that whole prompt in there just like you normally would, right? And so it gave me a welcome. And then it asked me about my business. I gave it some information about my business, as you normally would inside of ChatGPT or whatever else you're using, right? And so then it gives me a me and then we go through the billionaire analysis phase, and each billionaire gives me what it thinks about the business, right? So we go through there. We can see it's okay, but it's not a lot of information. And really, if I'm sitting in front of 5 billionaires, I want as much information from them as I possibly can get. I want to maximize this. I want to get all the juice, right? And so I thought, I could do better. And the way you do better is you want to think about AI kind of like a human, right? So if I stood in front of you and I said all of this, Billionaire Council Simulation, blah, 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 it's like a 20-minute diatribe, right? Am I going to remember it all? Probably not, right? And the AIs are kind of like that. They don't remember everything if you give them a big whole chunk of information. So it's much better, and this is the beauty of structured data, right? If I sit with you, I can have a 3-hour conversation back and forth and back and forth. We can talk. And same with the AIs. With little bits of information, we can actually get a heck of a lot back. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to kind of rip it apart, modify it for my business, and I'm going to show you what I got out of it, because I am really happy with what I got out of it. Like, really, really super happy. So let's jump into that. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I did, but then I'm actually going to show you what it did for me by doing that, right? And that's the beautiful thing about this. But let's just look what I did real quick. So we're going to go into configure this super tag. And you can see this chat over here, but just pretend you didn't see that for the moment. Okay, so the content template. First of all, because I want to turn this into a template for you guys, but I want to make sure it actually works first before I put it on smartguides.ai. So what I decided to do was I decided to give you the ability to change the billionaires, or perhaps even take a billionaire out and put somebody else in, right? Which I actually did, because I got the information from Warren Buffett, right? But I'm a coach and a consultant, and so I'm like, I want like the equivalent of a billionaire. I know Tony Robbins isn't a billionaire, and I know Grant Cardone isn't a billionaire. But those are two people that in my coaching and consulting that I look up to, that I would want their information, right? Like I would want their help in building my business. So I actually kicked Warren Buffett out, kicked him out, boom, you're gone. And in mine, I actually put Tony Robbins in. But I'm going to give you guys the original. So here's the thing that I want to show you, and I'll show you when we go over into mine actually, is that if you take one of them out, you just want to take one of them, right? Take it into, either inside of Tana here, or in ChatGPT or Grok or whatever you use. You can definitely do it just right here inside of Tana and just say, hey, here's the information about this new person I want to put in. Please put it in the same format. Just so that then, the AI understands it and it's not like totally different, right? You'll notice they all have a specific kind of style to them, right? So I opened up the business concepts where we're giving them that information into a prompt by itself. Same thing with the customers, problem to solve, business stage, revenue model, competitors, current challenges. So these over here means that before you move forward with these other, like actually using the AI, you want to have filled these in about your business. And just remember here, garbage in, garbage out, right? Like the more information you can give it at this stage, and that doesn't mean you can't change it later. But right now, give it as much information as you possibly can in order for the AI to really understand what is going on, right? And then what I did at this point is I switched it to when the billionaires are now evaluating this information, right? And so you would basically just click on this once you've filled out that information, and then the billionaires are going to respond to you and give their information. And then because I use Tana the way I use it for, my entire business basically. And so I wanted to be able to kind of grok or glean the information that I actually got out of using it, right? So I just made a little search note in here so that it would give me the information back. And just to give you an idea of what I'm searching for anything that I tagged as a highlight. In other words, I really liked what they were saying. I tag it as a project, a task, an idea, or my highlight, which is a little bit different, but anyways, ignore that, or an AI influencer. And I think in my last thing, you learned about how I use AI influencers. So if I get an idea to make an AI influencer, then I'm going to tag it AI influencer, right? So that's the full super tag. But I went a step beyond that, and I used the new commands from Tana to be able to chat with the board. So after you've done all of that, then you can click on chat with board and you can get information back based on all the information that's in there, which is really powerful. It's actually like talking to your board. And we're going to do that today. We're actually going to use this super tag, and I'm going to show you all of the wonderful things that I got out of it and what I learned, and how you can move forward. Okay, so now let's actually go into my fully blown version of this where I filled out my information about my company. So up here, you'll notice if I click on Billionaire Mentors, that it's just the same, but Anthony Robbins is there now instead of Warren Buffett. And he's much more aligned with what I do, right? And so I gave them all the information so far that I have about my business. This is just a new business that I'm starting up. And I've been a consultant and a coach for 23 years now. And basically kind of doing all of that, and then I got into marketing for a little while. But my real love is actually in software implementation, right? That's what I was a world leader in, was building systems inside of Daylight or Podio or whatever tool I happen to be using. And now Tana is my quote-unquote special interest, and where I build everything in. And so that's why I'm sharing you all this information about building this information into Tana. But I've worked with probably like 350 companies now, and so I do understand a lot about business, but I'm always open to the fact that maybe I don't know everything because I'm not a billionaire yet, right? And so this has been really eye-opening, but also kind of reaffirming to what I already knew, which is great. So this is what I put about my company. You know, we help you to elevate peak performance, unleash your creative potential. You know, with when you go in there, you can use our apps, and some of those apps are on Smart Guides itself. So they're kind of like that simple one-shot type of thing where you have like an app that does just one thing, doesn't do anything else. It's just like, boom, I do this, right? Like creating images or, you know, creating a Twitter thread or creating, some of the ones are more complex. They create videos and stuff like that. But that's the app side, right? And then that part of the business helps you in like creating my AI influencers. And so it's really kind of the promotional powerhouse, right? That's what I call it anyways, in helping you to build your coaching or consulting business. And I decided to focus this on coaching and consultants because I am one, right? I want to share what actually works for me. And then when we talk about enhancing your service delivery, we're talking about, for instance, using Tana with your clients so that you can give them your own templates, or you could even white label my templates and use them in your system. But more important is you want to put your systems in Tana, because that's your thing, right? You want to put your frameworks inside of Tana. And then the productivity booster part of it is, you know, where I built Tana Plan, which is my whole system that helps keep people focused on their vision, their goals, their projects, and their daily tasks, and helps you to make sure that you're working on what actually matters, right? Because that's so important. And I built it for my clients originally, but I live by that. And actually, I was just talking about that yesterday with somebody where I've got so much stuff going on, and it's kind of like I get lost sometimes because I have so much stuff. And I'm like, okay, Marnie, you know what to do. Just put everything inside of Tana, make sure you rank everything, and then it tells me exactly what I need to do. So you can see earlier videos on that about, you know, ranking your tasks and all of that. So we won't go into that today. But, you know, that's what we do. And then the back office, again, there are more apps inside of Smart Guides, you know, to like create your website, create your funnels, you know, have a phone number, all of that kind of back end stuff. That's kind of like, we call that pedestrian, right? Your back end systems. And achieving peak performance, again, that's more my stuff with the achieving peak performance inside of Tana. For instance, this got me so much further today than, you know, I've been like struggling pulling information together from different sources, but this is helping me think more clearly, and it's helping me know exactly what are my next steps that are most important to do. So customers, coach, consultants, peak performers, that's who I work with. Problem to solve is, you know, you guys struggle time-consuming tasks of creating consistent, high-quality content. You know, and I showed you how to do that with the AI influencer in our last one, right? My business stage is pre-revenue because I'm just like now getting this. I started the website in February and just now kind of getting the platform up and running, right? Revenue model. So our revenue model, we have $49 just to use the apps, right? And we have weekly training sessions where I teach you how to actually use the apps. And we also have the academy where we record those sessions and put in other, training videos on how to actually use the apps inside of both Tana and also inside of Smart Guides. And then if you want to, you could white label the whole platform. So, I have apps.smartguides.ai. You could have whatever apps. mycoachinggreatness.com. And then you can like pick and choose your different apps that you want to share. And you can also create your own apps, right? So that's kind of cool. And then if you just want to do that, you've got the platform, you've got the ability to white label that. Again, we do, weekly training on that as well, on the white label part of it. But if you want my help to build everything, then, we can do that too. That takes about 3 months. So that's my revenue model, right? And then who are our competitors? Because my business is so different, it's kind of hard to say, well, who are my competitors? Well, kind of Notion and Trello, that's what people use to track all of this. But Notion and Trello doesn't really have all of that available in it, right? And the websites are kind of like Kajabi and Thinkific. And then part of it might be school, because of the community inside of Smart Guides that you can set up, that you can join our Smart Guides community, but you can also set up your own if you white label, right? And my challenges are, getting those first clients and getting the system running. And so I'm like, what can I do so that people understand it? And it was really wonderful going through all of this and hearing what the gut reaction was. And you'll notice this is far more comprehensive than the information that we got over on Grok, right? Like, if we look back at Grok, let's look at the answer, even just with Elon Musk, right? So let's go back here and so this is the full amount of information that I got from Elon on his gut reaction from that one-shot prompt, right? It's like one sentence. Great. That, okay. But look at this. So his initial gut reaction was, it's interesting on the surface, but he wants a 10x push. I'm like, hey, wow. But I got a couple of really good ideas, right? So I tagged them in here. Could you embed an advanced GPT-like personal avatar that coaches on autopilot 24/7, that helps both the coach and the client in real time? That's a cool idea. And actually, we do have that inside of Smart Guides. So there's this thing when you white label, you can create an AI personality. And I'm still building mine, so mine isn't quite ready yet. But you can build an AI personality that has all of your information about your business or about, say, you're a coach, right? Or even if you're a consultant, information about your world. And the AI, you would feed it with like your PDFs and all of that fun stuff. And your customers can then access that either A, inside of your white label where they're paying for it, or B, on your website as like a web chat. So there's two different ways that you can actually use that. So I like that idea, and his was a little bit different. So I was thinking, no, that's great. We'll come back to that as an idea. And then the other one, coaching is essential to personal and professional development. Don't just solve surface level tasks. Disrupt the entire coaching model. For instance, create an AI system that identifies the client's limiting beliefs in real time and suggests course corrections. And I actually do have that. So this is, yeah, so I made this scarcity mindset super tag. So, you know, somebody can go through, fill that out, and it will give them a whole, you know, response on where they are with their scarcity mindset, right? Rather than having an abundancy mindset. So that was kind of cool. I really liked that into his ideas. So, scares. Oh. There we go. Okay, so, and you can, like, as a coach, you've probably got a whole bunch of ideas of different frameworks that you have, right? That you could put inside of a system like Tana. And, oh, favorite Muskism. I like that one. That's great. So it did this for all of the billionaires. And I already made a project. Sam said that I should do 100 free trials. So if you want a free trial of Smart Guides, just head on over there. You can sign up for a free trial. Try it out for 7 days. You'll have a limited amount of apps that you can use, but it will give you an idea of the platform and how it works and all that fun stuff. And then once you actually pay, you can have your first onboarding call with me. I'll, you know, go through and answer all your questions about the platform, help you understand it, and then, you know, you'll have access to all of the tools according to the level. So if you're on the Pro plan, you'll get access to everything but not Remix. And then if you're on Remix, it gives you access to the entire platform, including the ability to white label it. But I really liked Jeff Bezos' flywheel strategy, and I'm using a lot of that going forward. Sarah Blakely, she had a lot of really good ideas too. So again, I just went through here and I tagged them, and I'm not going to go through all of that, right, with you here today. But I just want you to understand how much more useful this is than that one line of information that I got from Elon in the other one, right? Like, this is something you can, like, it's meaty. That's my point. It's totally meaty. So, you know, they went through, gave me my strengths, and, you know, I made a few different tasks in here. I highlighted some stuff. And so they like verified a lot of what I'm doing. And then came up with an influencer idea because of Tony Robbins. A case study. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll do a case study, you know, in a few months. And again, because I've got my system in here, let me just do 30K in 3 months, and it will set the due date to July, right? Which it just did. Oops, it bounced me back up here. There we go. So it set it back to, or, you know, in the future to do that in 3 months after I've had some people on the platform. The disagreements between them, which I really like, that information is, you know, helpful to me. Weaknesses that I need to be aware of, and making sure that I'm making something that actually works for coaches and consultants. And I'm pretty confident it does, because if it works for me and I became a world leading consultant, should work for you, right? And so that's really cool. So I had, you know, highlights on all of this stuff. Industry insights, that was really cool, like from the billionaires' perception of their industry, right? That was super helpful. I got a lot from everybody in that. I got a lot of ideas. And so, like, you're going along, you're tagging this stuff, and, you know, it goes on forever. It took me, you know, the greater part of yesterday to actually read through all of this. And even, I know that there's like, I'm going to have to go back in and read it more as time goes on, because there's things that don't apply yet, but they will later. But the whole point is this is super, super rich compared to what we had. And, failure prediction, that was really good. Things I need to be aware of, things that could cause problems. But here's what I love, this part here is, and this is, we're going to do this together. So after all of that, the billionaire mentors come up with, I should define my core value proposition. And I think I already have, right? But this is where we're going to actually chat over here, because it said that I should create my core value proposition. So that's what we're going to do right here. We're just going to say, from what you know about my business. So what it's pulling from here, just so you know, is all of the information right up to here. It knows all of that. It can read all of that when it goes to answer this. And I think that there's enough information in here that it can do that. So let's actually do that. And so, again, it is breaking it out to which each one thinks is the value proposition, and then giving it a summary, right? And again, it's so freaking helpful because it really helps you think. And that, to me, is the purpose of AI, is it helps you to think. And that's what's so important, is this isn't just for you to blindly take it and use it, but, oh, yeah, okay, I can see some areas where that's right, some areas where that's wrong. So there we go. We've got that. And this is actually just going to live underneath of this item, so I don't need to copy it or do anything with it because it'll be down below here, and I'll show you in a second. Defining the core value proposition. So each time I chat with it, this conversation is going to be right here, right? And so now let's go back to those takeaways. Look at this. These are the core takeaways that I got from doing this. And again, it's just so much more involved than what I got from that simple one-shot prompt. So I hope that helps you guys understand the real core value of taking what you know, what framework you have in your coaching system, right? Or consulting, whatever you do, and then kind of tearing it apart and then putting it in piece by piece into Tana so that you could give this to your clients and they could use that. And so now, like, say if one of my clients was using this on their business, then in my coaching, we might have a discussion about all of this, and, you know, we can go back and forth. So the AI becomes a adjunct, right? Something that adds to everything rather than, you know, something replacing you. You know, because AI is not perfect. It's going to give you some stupid ideas as well. And, you know, like I said, I know enough about my business to know what is good and what is not, right? Because, like I said, I've been doing this for 23 years. world leader in, building systems like this. So I understand it, and helping, 350 companies in their businesses. So, but like I said, I always am open to learning new things. And that's what I got out of all of this, is that it gave me new ideas for, I could do that and I could do that. And so now I'm going to work today. We just did that. I'm going to create a VSL. Maybe I might turn this into a VSL. Who knows? Anyways, I hope that you really enjoyed this today. If you want to be able to use the Billionaire boards, join us in Smart Guides. It's not quite there yet, but it'll be there probably next week. I just want to bang around with it a little bit this week and make sure that it's behaving properly and doing the things that I want it to do. And yeah, hope it opened your eyes today.